Hello everyone, this is Jonathan for PokerVIP.com, and this is part 2 of the Lagging It Up on TonyBet series. It's a 4-part series where I will basically be playing a lot more hands, 3-betting more frequently, and just getting into some crazy kind of spots. And I hope you enjoy it. And for anyone who doesn't really know what lagging it up means, like I say, you might have heard people being described as lag, loose aggressive, the Gus Hansons of the world, basically. So 8-10 off, prime example, player limps, I ISO, and I raise this flop because I was going to bet, basically. Luckily, though, for us, we go ahead and turn the straight. And I'm just going to continue to just raise and hope he chases some sort of like full house draw, flush draw, or just overplays a hand, but he ends up just folding. But I want to get the money in the middle and, play for stacks on the river. So we've got 4 tables up, and it is 25 and L, the top 2 tables, then 2 and L bottom left, and 5 and L bottom right. 3-way action bottom left. Top left, I've gone ahead and 3-bet the king queen. We can definitely play it different ways between flatting and 3-betting, but as we are playing loose, then we'll be 3-betting in these spots. Really great flop. I expect him to 4-bet ace king a lot. 8s and 3s definitely in his range, but there's no 2-pair combinations. So here I'd expect to have the best hand pretty much always. And I'm going to go ahead and bet really small, because we can of course bluff with this sizing as well. 7 changes nothing apart from pocket 7s, but I think he folds those on the flop, so I'm just going to continue to bet. If I bet 5 here and he calls, then we set the pot up for a nice river jam. So I'm just going to basically bet 5 and hope he calls. Now I'm going to jam any river. Bad rivers for us, a jack with a hand like king jack or pocket jacks that might have just called pre-flop, or an ace possibly. This makes no real sense. He's repping like a set or ace king or aces. I mean, in this spot, for me personally, I'm just going to have to call and call, just because it's like ace king, aces, pocket 8s, and we of course block ace king. And of course block pocket king, so I'm just going to call and then call the river. Don't like the 10 at all. Doesn't feel great, but yeah. He is not repping a whole lot. He actually has 5-6 for the busted straight draw. I mean, just a really terrible play by him. Yeah, I mean, I don't get why he's trying to like rep something there, and I don't get why he's barreling that river. I don't get his sizing on the turn. It's just really spewy. And we take his money, so pretty good result. I mean, it's one of those things you kind of there like, well, if he's value raising and value jamming, then I really don't like my hand. But people do just stupid shit, like people do dumb shit, and they really do. So just think about your hand, think about what he's repping, think about your blockers, and click that call button. And that kind of just repeats a lot from the 24-part series I did. People were just going crazy versus me, and we were just clicking call and making lots of money. Just put the straddle on there. I forgot to put it on originally, but it's on now. That'll obviously create bigger pots and more action. And I think I'm going to change the 2NL table for a 5NL table. This 2NL table looks pretty useless and not very entertaining. With the 9-10, I bet flop. I could have barrel turn, but river I'll go ahead and bet though for value and hope it like ace highs me or calls me for a 3. Nice, we take that pot down. Get rid of that. Bring this in. There we go. Bit better for you guys. Definitely better watching higher stakes than lower stakes. I'm going to get this riddle on there. 8-9 suited I open. Going to go ahead and see bet this flop all day, every day. Repping the king. Backdoor draws. Turn card's really good for us. It's going to improve our hand more frequently than it's going to improve his. Hands that it improves for him is a hand like ace 10 or jack queen. But the rest of it, it's just going to really diminish his, 9-10 suited or something like that. So a barrel will achieve lots of folds. Check the 3-5. 6 is here. I'm going to just call. Going to go ahead and bet my straight draw. I'm going to overbet the pot. Basically just try and get him to fold. It's always good when they fold when you've got 5 high, but also if he does call, Then we hit the river. We've obviously built a bigger pot, so there's a couple of positives. If he raises, I will just go ahead and fold, of course. Need to get my seat sorted. Jack 3, I'm just going to bet, and if he calls, I'm going to bet the turn. I'm going to bet the river. He's just not going to have that many strong hands, and I am, so I just turn my Jack into a bluff, basically. So far, so good. Gonna go for the raise here with the ace-4 suited. Can certainly just defend by flat calling. He's 4-bet. Don't know too much about this guy, but one thing I do know is I do have an ace, which does block a lot of what he's repping. You know, our hand versus kings is 30%. I think we can get him to fold some of his, value 4-bets, like 10s, possibly ace-queen. This might be a good candidate for a 5-bet jam bluff. Just because our hand does have equity, if he runs it twice, that's obviously a perk, but he can also just fold a lot, so this is a good spot. Sadly, we run into queens, but we can hit the ace. No dice. Just ran into the hand there, which will happen. But not believing all 4-bets, using our blockers. Like I say, versus queens there, we're over 30% in equity, so as like a worst case scenario of him calling, then that is certainly not a bad case entirely. And the 9-10 I squeezed, and I'm just going to bet call it off on this board with my straight draw. The a6 I squeezed, get a pretty bad flop, going to check. Even though we make a pair, he's just going to have lots of king queens, jack 10s, 9-10s, ace queens, just so many pairs or draws that really hit this flop. So this one I'm happy to just check and try and get to showdown, or just, give up on. Nothing wrong with the check fold. Being min raised here with the jack 7, or well, almost. Always defend versus these sizings and basically just try and hit the flop. I've said this a lot in the past. That is the simplest strategy of all, is when you get such a good price, you're in position, then you should probably go ahead and call. Flop a jack here could be troubling, but when the king comes, it's going to be pretty much good night to us. But he does check, and we check back. Hopefully we do go to showdown and somehow win here, but I'll certainly fall to a bet if he makes one on the river. I don't think our jack's going to be doing that well. Defending lots of buttons, as we would do playing loose. Lots of suit connectors, suit gap connectors. Really hoping for a check, but instead he pots it, and I'm just going to get out of the way. A9 suited I defend, I flop top pair. Not a lot else with it. Bold and gold has 3-bet me here, we're deep. Pretty easy call with the 8s. We flop that second set, and after the hand on the other table, this could definitely be a good spot for us to pick up some money. He might believe us a little bit less. He's the guy we just stacked off to. So I think I might just go for a straight up check raise here. Obviously as well, we are out of position. We need to build a pot. We are very deep. So we just kind of hope he's got aces or, ace king here, and we get it all. 8-9, I called flop, I called turn, and then I will fold river if he bets again. Been raised here. I mean, I only lose to pocket kings. So, it's kind of at that spot of like, we're just going to go with it. I think I might call here, make my hand look a little bit weaker. Obviously, I don't want to see a heart. The reason I don't want to see a heart is not just because he might have hearts, but also it just might lose me action. Now, this is a fantastic river. Makes me pretty much sure I'm just not beat unless he 3-bet me pre with king 6 or king 4 somehow. But I think a lot of times he's just going to have ace king or aces. Because it's really hard for him to have quads, basically. So here I'm just going to basically tank and then jam and just hope he calls me with like the ace king or the aces. Maybe lose action if he does have aces because of the heart and the king. But with my crazy sort of play on the other table, the flat I sort of like just peeled and I checked, and now I'm like tanking and jamming. He might just level himself into calling. It would really suck if he has king 6 and he was just like getting out of line pre-flop. But yeah, we're just kind of fist pumping to the bank here, and we're going to go for it. He folds. Interesting. Really not too sure what he has there. Like, maybe it's aces, or maybe he was just, bluffing on the flop and, playing back at me. It would be very interesting to know. Okay, ace king bottom right. We opened. We got jammed on. Going to be a pretty easy call for 43 big blinds. Going to check my straddle with the 5-6. So we make the call with the ace king. He's got ace queen. That's nice. Very good flop. Great turn. Better river. Take that one down. I'm going to lead with my second pair. Get called. Turn the straight draw. I think I'm just going to go ahead and bet again. See if I can just get him to start folding like his ace 6 or 6-7 or 6-10 suited or whatever it might be. Or again, if he calls and he's got a jack, we can hit a 5 or 6, 7 or a deuce. A few checks here. When you got the straddle on, you do see lots more limpers. Make a 9 on the river. I think I'm just going to check and use it as a bluff catcher. He checks back though, and we just take it down. Ten-4 suited going to check. Queen-3 suited going to raise. 10-4 suited, I'm going to go for a check call. Second pair, backdoor flush draw. And the Queen-3 suited, I'm just going to go ahead and bet and hope to win. Going to stick to the plan, even though it gets called twice. God, every time, hey guys. Every time. Queen-3, I bet and gave up. 10-4, great spot. We have a pair of flush draw and we're getting a very good price. So just going to call, no need to raise, not going to turn our hand into a bluff, just kind of want to get to showdown and, get to the river and improve. River's going to be a fold, King-4 suited I'm going to open, Queen-10 I'm going to ISO. Queen-10 he calls, King-5-6 2 spades. I think we might just go ahead and test him a little bit here and go for a raise. Leading is normally indicative of draws or weakness. And in this case, it is weakness. Nice way to just go ahead and take down a pot. Deuces here when I'm in the straddle. I think I'm just going to call. Definitely think about 3-betting it also and just, really defending our hand. But if I think if I'm going to 3-bet, then I'd want to be like 5-bet jamming it. I don't feel deuces is that appropriate to do so. Very interesting game so far. Obviously, my wild jam with the ace-4 suited. The guy stacking off to me with the 5-6 suited. Then that pocket 8 hand versus bold and gold again on the other table. So plenty of action. Hope you're enjoying it. Just thought we'd bring something different. We're going to bring some PLO videos. Here, I don't know what's happened. I think it got double straddled or something. Maybe a software glitch. But once I've, got that second straddle and the guy's got dead money in there, I think a good play is always just to go ahead and just raise it and hope to take down all the money in the middle. There's lots of dead money out there, so makes sense to just try and take that down. Rezux calls, which is annoying, but we're going to go ahead and bet. He calls very quickly, 9 on the turn. Then we're going to go for another one. He calls again, and a 5 on the river, which I think I'm going to give up on. I was going to jam like anything over a 9, but I think this 5 improves his range. Or just doesn't scare him off like his calling down range, so I'm gonna have to check. And sadly, he only had the 4, which I could have maybe got him to fold. I just did not feel that the 5 was going to get him off there. So hey ho. The king deuce again. The straddle, for some reason I was to act first. Say 3 is an interesting spot. I'm going to fold it, so I'll go ahead and raise and just try to take down the dead money. Going to bet my gut shot on backdoor flush draw and win that pot. So again, the reason to do lagging up videos, playing loose, playing every hand, is very simply to get in like a ton of tough spots and a ton of weird spots. You know, when you're playing poker, lots of things will be standard, like, which is a great thing, and they're very easy to play. But, you know, quite often, if you're putting in serious volume, you'll then also start thinking, well, hold on, I've never been in this spot before. Why is this money in the middle? Why is this guy limped? You know, I have nothing. You know, I'm getting 4-bet a lot. So it's always a good way to sort of like learn, and we can discuss it. So any questions you have, please just leave them in the comments. Happy to answer anything. And this is just a 4-part series, and looking for a good PLO coach to show you the PLO action. And of course, TonyBet offer open face Chinese, which I think would be very cool. If we could get some videos of that going. It's just hard to find good open face Chinese coaches. Who knew? They're all still trying to guard their secret. So the king, I make the king on the river. I mean, it's a pretty obvious check. Hopefully we win, which we do. Definitely not a spot to value bet or bluff. Just knuckle it back and hope to win. Gonna stop this guy limping. Put him under a bit of pressure, try and get him to fold pre-flop. Gonna go ahead and defend my 5-8 suited. Very wide defend, of course. Flop a pair, but this is definitely a board we will just be giving up on. Pretty much as bad as it gets for our hand, even though we make a pair. He checks. He could definitely be going for lots of check raises. So I'm just going to check and hopefully hit a 5 or 8 on the turn and go from there. He checks again. I guess I just check back, make a straight, but the flush gets there. A 3. I'm going to go ahead and just continuation bet. The straight, I think I might have to call here, even though it's a pot size bet. It's pretty close, actually. Maybe it is a fold. I think you can actually have lots of clubs. I think I said they have to fold there. Going to ISO top left. Isolating raise, for anyone who's not seen my videos or knows this about poker, is when a sort of like weak player limps and you're in position with somewhat of a playable hand. It's good to go ahead and just raise about 4 times the blind, because you're going to take the pot down a lot pre-flop, or you're going to play a pot in position versus a weak player. We're going to definitely see that our gut shot. We called with the 3s to set. Mine did not work out. Okay, this guy calls. I think I'm going to bet again. I think I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3 on this guy. But instead he folds and saves us the bother. Double barrel gets through. $5-10 would be a little bit too wide to open, even when playing very loose. Hope you guys like the banner as well for this. Tony G raging, always something fun to watch. I'm just going to go for the 3-bet here with the 5-7. I think he's going to be attacking my straddle a lot. I think my sizing will get him to fold a lot, but he does just end up calling. I think we're going to bet and just hope he folds. The 6s I defended, going to be a very easy check call on a 9 deuce deuce. He calls. Possibly a jam here. I think he's just going to have lots of like floats, like Jack Queen with the heart types. I don't think he's going to have that many 10s. Don't think he's going to have that many pocket pairs over a 10. He might have had like 7s, which might call if he's got a heart, but I think we'll just get a lot of folds here and protect our hand, so I'm going to rip it in. Sadly, we get called, and he's got a full house. But I think the logic is there, where he's just not going to have that many strong hands. He's going to have lots of sort of like over pairs and draws. Six is here, he bets again. I think he's going to be barreling. Well, it's a really tough spot because he's overbet. And I think like a lot of regs overbet with their draws. You know, if he's got like Jack Queen of Spades, Jack Queen of Clubs, something like that. But sadly, those hands have so much equity versus us, and if we call, we just have to decide to call any brick on the river, and there's just actually not that many bricks, so gonna fold it. The Jack 6, I'm just gonna lead half point into 3. Could have gone slightly larger, I guess. 8-10, I'm gonna check. Okay, cool. The Jack 6, gonna bet again. This is the guy who just had the pocket 10s versus me. So I'm just going to bet, 25 into 38 and then bet around the same on the river. Hopefully he just snaps us. Whoops. Got to always put the 0, not just the point. If he raises, I mean, it's a call, of course. But, yeah, we just want to call there, basically. So, yeah, playing like Gus Hansen, not so easy, it seems, but looking at Gus's online graph, maybe not profitable one itself. I always say I think playing crazy is not a good idea, but I definitely think loosening up on sites like this is a good idea because you're going to play lots more pots versus lots of weaker players. Just obviously, bear in mind that you should probably be in position, try and have somewhat of a playable hand, not get too out of line, understand your opponents, note take. But opening wider, stealing blinds more, defending blinds wider, 3-betting blinds wider. I think they're all definitely profitable plays in games like this. Um, 10 Jack, I think a good squeeze. Aiming just to get the folds pre-flop, of course. Do commit quite a lot of our stack, but we're risking 160 to win the 80 plus our straddle in there. This guy calls us. Pretty interesting. I think we just go for a C-bet and hope he folds. 9-10 going to defend, and he does just go ahead and fold. And, around third of the pot, half the pot. There is lots in there. We have to risk money to win money when we have nothing, so it was the only decision. It was the right decision. Going to go ahead and call. 10 high is going to be good sometimes, but also if I hit my straight, I might get paid. I think I've got to bluff this river. I can have definitely lots of jacks and queens. And yeah, he just folds quickly. I think he's just going to bet all of his for value. I'm going to go ahead and raise the queen 6 suited versus the limp. And the straddle, for some reason I'm acting first again. I think it's when like a big blind sits down, it spazzes out of it. So I'm just going to start raising, which we can definitely do with ace 6 suited anyway. This guy's got a very small stack. I'm just going to bet and get it in. The queen at 6, I'm going to bet quite large with my gut shot and flush draw. Should I say double my open down straight draw. I'm going to check the river. Hope he checks back and I beat a hand like ace jack. If he bets though, we'll just go ahead and fold. I think he's going to have plenty of 10s in his range. He also might bet some 2 pairs and sets anyway, but this is a pretty trivial fold. Pot size bet, I'd hope he was bluffing more than value betting because as a value bet is terrible sizing because my hand's just never, strong enough to call there. Going to raise the 7-8 versus the dead money. Going to go ahead and ISO. 7-8 have been called twice so far, so these guys not folding today it seems. I'm going to go ahead and just bet my straight draw. Obviously not loving the fact that it's all spade flop and I have no spades, but I'm going to start by betting and see if we can get some folds, or if they start calling and we turn a straight, then we're just going to keep peddling it and hope they didn't flop a flush. Once you get raised though, 7-8 goes into the bin. 7 deuce, top right. Don't really want to play the pot, so I'm going to just try and win it pre-flop. I'll be able to take control post-flop. Good flop for us. Represent the ace and the king. We should have lots more than he does. He goes very fast. I think this might be the 1-2-3 again. You know, again, like how many ace kings, ace queens, ace jacks does he have? How many sets does he have? It's almost none, and we should have them all. So it's going to be a 1-2-3, guys. And we just hope he is not in a hero mood with a hand like ace 10 or hit a hand like king jack. He's thinking about it. Hopefully he thinks about it and folds. Nice, yeah. I mean, it's one of the spots where we're not just doing this because we've got 7 deuce, by the way. I mean, we could have like any hand there, value, bluff, whatever. One pair. We are just basically deciding that he should really have just like no sets. No big 2 pairs. Maybe has a straight sometimes, but probably raises turn. So yeah, I think we're just happy to go with it. Gonna go ahead and 3-bet blind versus blind with the jack 8. Gonna squeeze the jack 10. Actually, I'm not. I'm just gonna call. The 7-10 suit I've been raised. I think I'm just gonna call and see what happens on the turn. The jack 8. I think I'm happy to just check, and then bet the turn for protection, and fold the 7-10 suited. Bad flush draw, plus the board's now paired, so we could just be dead. Jack 8, I'm just gonna check. I think I win sometimes, so yep, fine. Calls me with 7's pretty crazy play. Not too sure why he would do that. But I guess, you know, I'm playing crazy, people then start playing crazy, it all just becomes this crazy game, so cool with me. 7s, I just decide to call, which is standard. The ace 8, no limping on my watch, I go for the raise again, get called again. Doesn't deter me though, because you see how often we win with the c-bets, how often we can barrel, how often we understand our range and understand their range, so we're just always going to be in such great spots when we're in pots like this. Once you play like a million of these pots, then you're going to be up a lot of money. I think I might just go for a check here. Go for a check call. We can bet, we can check. It really doesn't matter. Now I go ahead and bet small on the turn. Hope for a call. If he raises, I'll be confused. But I will probably call and then call lots of rivers, like brick rivers. He calls. 3, great card. I think he's just going to have lots of like worse pairs than I have, so I'm going to bet really small. And if he raises, I'll go for a call. Just assume he missed the draw like 9-10 of spades or something. Ace 4, my bad. I should have definitely ISO'd him. Take it down with that ace 8 though. He does not decide to play back at us. And we're going to call it a session here. So yeah, that's the end of part 2 of the Lagging It Up series on TonyBet. What did we do? We mucked up the ace 4 suited. He bluff didn't go our way or 2, but I think we ended the session probably even or maybe up or down slightly. But lots of interesting spots, lots of post-flop decisions. Double barreling worked really well for us. Triple barreling also worked well with that 7 deuce. So yeah, just lots of good moments. Hopefully you guys sort of like picked up on some things or want to throw me some questions. But yeah, come join me for part 3, which will be coming out this week. And yeah, good luck at the tables. This was Jonathan for PokerVIP.com.